Yeah, 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 yeah. Hit the like button, please. Hit the like button, please. Um, $15 live stream goal for me to stay on 2 hours. Cash App, PayPal, Streamlabs all at the top of the chat. Or super chat, super sticker, dollar symbol on the right of the chat box. Yeah, we just gonna get right into it. Hold on, let me pull the stream up. Rare Breeze, let me know something in the live chat. Let me know you're here rocking with me. Shout out to Persian Warrior. Let's see.
Hi everyone, welcome to my next video. Many of you have asked if I would share some of my experiences with online dating. And so this is it. I'm going to share some strange, some funny, and some sad stories that happened to me when I was 50 years old. So that's 20 years ago when I joined a popular dating website. I'm not going to tell you which one it was, but it was the most popular one. Dating website. I'm not going to tell you which one it was, but it was the most popular one way back in 2005, which, gosh, I can't believe it's that long ago. And the reason why, looking back, I now understand why I chose to join that online dating website. And I believe it's because so many of us, we're lonely. We want to find someone compatible. It's only natural to find that special someone, especially if we've had relationships in the past that didn't work out. And so
at your age, you're basically unmatchable. Like, forget about it. Basically, you're done. You're like a has-been, and no man will ever go for you.
You gotta know when to say when, bitch. Our coochie cutter days are over. Forever 21 was a lie. Sit down. Stop playing with yourself.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Look, I'll sum it up like this. Oh, I'm muted? Wait, what? Well, I don't think I've said anything. Hey, can you hear me now? Shout out to Shad. Yeah, I'm just gonna call you Shad. My mic was muted, but I wasn't saying anything. Can you hear me now? You might not be able to hear me actually. Well, I'm glad somebody told me. All right, let's figure it out. Oh, you can hear me now. All right, great. All right. Okay, let's speculate. She's 70 years old, but she's talking about when she was 50 years old. And oh, we want to find love, we want somebody, especially when relationships. She said a S, relationships didn't work out. Let me put it like this. All women are selling is crack your legs twice a week, make a sandwich from time to time, and don't be too much of a bitch. That's really all women are selling on a dating market. See, cooking and cleaning are basic adult activities. Wow, T Orlando, are you serious? I'm not kink shaming T Orlando, but I just want to know if you're being serious or if you're joking. Um, I'm not knocking you if you tap this. I'm not knocking you, but I'm just saying. I'm just curious if you're serious. But anyway, all women are selling are cook, clean, which really isn't selling anything. I mean, you have to do it as an adult when you live in the house. You got to feed yourself, and I would hope you clean your house at some point. I mean, that's just basic decency, right? To clean your home. So we got to stop acting like that's some type of grand package. I cook, I clean. Okay, that's what adults do. I don't consider that what women are offering to a relationship. Okay, respect it to Orlando. Um, said some of the best sex he's ever had has been older white women. I mean, I believe it. I'm not. I believe it. So what? 40 to 70. What's the age range to Orlando? Who got the best P? White women between what ages got the best P? Is it 60 to 70, 50 to 70, 40 to 70? What's the start and end of it? Anyway, I just want to really break down like how pathetic it is when a woman can't keep a man. Okay, so I'm sorry for talking slow. I'm just working out the thoughts in my head. The only thing a woman has to do essentially to be deemed a good woman in a relationship is basically just be a decent human. Like literally, that's literally it. As we know, it takes a lot more to be considered like a top tier man in relationships. Like, oh, you hit the lottery, girl. It take a guy to be exceptional, right? You got to build houses from scratch and some more shit. But all a woman has to do is basically just be a decent human. Cook and clean. That's just being a decent human. Um, treat people with some type of basic respect. Just being a decent human. Um, and that's pretty much it. So any woman who can't successfully do that by the age of 30 is dog shit. Absolute dog shit. Now, what exceptions can we make? Well, obviously, widow doesn't count. So obviously, widow would be the exception. Another exception would be, look, I was a good woman. My husband just cheated on me or left me. That happens sometimes. I'll admit it. That happens sometimes. Sometimes the woman actually was a good woman, but the man just got tired of her or found a younger chick he wanted to be with. Who knows? Or maybe he just got bored with being in a relationship, period. Who knows? But sometimes men do leave good women. Maybe she was a good woman, but the sex was bad or she got sick, whatever. Sometimes men leave women who didn't deserve, quote unquote, to be left. But with the exception of those two things, there's no reason why a woman could fail at dating. If a woman has said yes to another man, it's a no for me. I don't understand that. If a woman has said yes to another man, it's a no for me. Anyway, so and let me be clear about this. Let's just say the example of where like a woman got married at 20 and her husband just upped and left at 40. Or he cheated and she left. And I'll give her a pass if he cheated. But I still don't think that's really a good idea for a lot of women to divorce your husband at 40 because he cheated. I don't think it's a good idea for women. It's biblically sound. It's um it's morally sound to leave if your husband cheated, but it's not going to be smart practically. because the chances of you getting something so much better or even ever getting something again is slim to none. Mm. But the point I was gonna make is, even if a woman get married at 20, have kids or whatever, and then her husband leave her, he cheated and she left him, there's plenty of men on the dating market looking for a good woman, a decent woman, even at 40. There's 40 and 50-year-old, there's 40 to 60-year-old men who are looking for a woman in her 40s to be in a relationship with. And she don't even gotta look good or nothing. If she a 2, there's a 1 on the dating market looking for a 44-year-old woman, um, to be in a relationship with. So, I guess the point that I'm making is, if a woman is single by a certain age, 30, 40, or 50, and she's been in multiple relationships in her life, which I would imagine by 30, 40, and 50, you've been in multiple relationships. Look, she's not a good mate. She's not gonna make a good mate. She's probably never gonna make a good mate, especially when she get over 40. She's fully cooked. So the point is, there's really only 3 reasons why a woman should, well, let me not say that. So ultimately, the point that I'm making is, there's no reason for a decent woman to be single. So the conclusion you can come to is, if she's single, she's not a decent woman over 30. You see what I'm saying? There's too many men looking for a halfway decent chick for any woman to consistently fail on the dating market. So even if she got divorced at 40, she still should be snatched up within 6 months. If she's looking. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe back in the day when it wasn't dating apps or something, but every woman, even a 240 plus 2, can get on a dating app and find a decent man who's a 1 or a 2 who a relationship will work with. But yeah, let's let her continue. Yeah, T Orlando says every chick I've dated older than like 32, they were train wrecks. Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I mean, it goes back to what I always say. I'm gonna say it every stream. There's no good reason for a woman to be single after. I'll just give leeway this episode after 30. And if she happens to be one of the good ones single over 30, look, he's gonna get snatched up quick. She's not gonna be single at 35, I promise you. Um, so I mean, I guess it's possible to find a decent woman on the rebound, not on the rebound, but I guess on the rebound after her husband left her or something, and she's still a good woman, and you snatch her up. So yeah, if you meet a 30-plus-year-old woman and she like, oh, I've been single for 2 months, you like, okay, that's still within the. I've been single and looking for 2 months. You can like, oh, that's passable. If she say, oh, I'm 30 and single, my husband left me. I've been looking for 4 months. Passable. you know, I've been looking for 6 months. It's getting a little questionable. Now I'm starting to think you're not a good woman. If you a 30-plus-year-old single good woman and been single and looking for 6 months, now I'm starting to get suspicious. But let's just give them some leeway. A good woman over 30, single and looking for 11 months. We'll give them a year max, 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 max. Right? But so my ultimate point is, there is no reason why a good woman, and what do I define as a good woman? Or let me, one of the main characteristics I define as a good woman on the dating market. She has realistic and righteous standards with men. what's a pillar when we talking about what a good woman is. She has realistic and righteous standards for men. So yeah, there's absolutely no reason, especially if we account for dating apps, because there's some women who, oh, I don't really want to use dating apps, but a good woman knows, like, look, I'm over 30, I need to get a man, and a good woman ain't afraid to actually put in effort to get a man, including dating apps. A good woman knows the importance of having a man in her life, so she gonna do everything she can fucking do to get one. She not okay with just being out here being single. So I'll land my plane finally. So the final point is, I'm just gonna speak in absolute. There is no reason for a woman over 30 to be single and looking for over a year. If that is the case, she's not a good woman. I wouldn't really touch that. Casual fling at best. Well, I always say, like, over 30 women are just they're in that box anyway. Live out girlfriend at best. But I'm talking about even more casual. Like, she's probably not even fit to be live out girlfriend. If she's over 30, single and looking for over a year, maybe a 2 month fling at best. Because let me touch on this real quick too. Especially if it's a woman who he's been going on dates. So let's say she got divorced, her husband divorced her for no good reason at 30, right? And she's 32 and she says she's been dating for 2 years. Like, "Oh yeah, I've been meeting guys and going on dates and had a little something here." Yeah, leave that alone. There's she's cooked for anything even remotely serious. Cuz I would say it's somewhat of a slight difference if she say, "Oh, I got divorced at 30 and I haven't looked at a guy for 2 years. I haven't went on a dating app. I've just healed." And we got to be careful with the whole heal word and all that mumbo jumbo they try to say. But we would give a little bit of a pass if we believe her that her husband left her at 30 for no good reason, and she haven't looked at a man, she haven't went on a date, she haven't went on a date nap, she just been trying to recoup and heal from her husband just up and then leaving her. I'll give her that. I'll give her that. I mean, you could if you could read women good, you could kind of get a vibe if she's telling the truth or not. TK says, "I'd be careful. My wife is older than me, and I married her when she was 32. By 40, she was done. Intimacy gone, so I would advise caution over 30. Good looks or not, her hormones will still evaporate." Facts. Yeah, he said he married her at 32. Yeah, so yeah, no, sometimes men leave. Sometimes men leave women. Like, I'm not gonna say that. Sometimes a man could just, I don't know, he just get bored with her, tired of her, met somebody else. It could happen. It happens sometimes. I ain't going. It happens. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna sit here and act like men are these saints and no, fuck no. But yeah, TK, what I always say is my general rule was never marry a woman you met after 25. That's a little it's a little what's the word I'm looking for? Stringent. It's a little strict, it's a little rigid. Um but even if we want to like lighten up the standard a little bit, I mean definitely, don't marry a woman you met after she was 30 for sure. I got a meme for this. Cause you gotta ask yourself, man. Let's talk. I mean, I was gonna let this video play, but fuck it. We ranting. Fuck it. Let me say this real quick. My channel is so cooked. I'm glad I started a new channel. I mean, it was just time. Cause my channel is cooked. I'm losing subscribers. I think last month I lost 8 subscribers. Not only did I not gain any, I lost like 8. This channel is fucking cooked. Anyway, everybody go join the new channel, Dating Dysfunctions. It's link is in the top of the chat. What up, D Scott? What we looking like? How many people we got in here? 15. That's what's up. Let's get the likes up. We got 8 likes. Let's get the likes up. Likes up. Likes up. Let's see what we looking like on Rumble. I'm gonna break something down. Let me play this meme. So we gonna break this down. I want me to stay on 2 hours. I'm looking to meet a $15 live stream goal. Cash App, PayPal, Streamlabs, all at the top of the chat. Or super chat, super sticker, dollar symbol on the right of the chat box. Okay, my memes is acting up. But let's break this down again. Especially if we talking about what year are we in? 2025. So let's see. 50-year-old woman. Let's see. So woman who was born in 80. She was born in 80. She was in college in the early 2000s or working her way out of college in the early 2000s. So yeah, we'll count it. So from 1980. So right now she would be 45. So yeah, let's just do this. So let's break down why a man should never marry chicks. They've been getting raw dog since they were 13 years old. Now, I'm not saying look, every woman's not a hoe. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not saying every 14-year-old girl is getting ran through by 20 dicks in high school. So in fact, let's just give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's just use a good girl example, a somewhat of a good girl example. Okay, she had her first boyfriend at 14. Actually, I'll use the example of somebody I know. I mean, I don't know the name, of course, but I know a young girl. Okay, this is not creepy. I'm just saying somebody I know. You can use your imagination of how I know this younger woman. Well, she's grown now. I'm not gonna say her age, but she's grown now. But I knew her since she was essentially a kid, little kid. Um, so ever since she was, let's say, 13, I'm hearing about different boys. This boyfriend, that boyfriend. It's like every 6 months, a new boyfriend since 13, 14. So, and it don't even matter if she has sex with him or not. I mean, it's fair to assume she has sex with at least a couple, right? So from 14 to 19, from 14 to 19, I've heard about 14 and 19. There's, let's just say, five five boys that she's been attached to. 14 and 19. Now, many people will say, "Well, that ain't a hoe." You know, a guy a year, and maybe she had sex with two. That's a lot. See, that pair bonding ability, it, it's already withering away. That's not, to me. That's not. She didn't had. So what did I say? Five boys. It's not to mention talking stages with boys that didn't have boyfriends. Or, maybe a guy she was just talking to for 2 weeks who fingered her under the bleachers. But like you see what I'm saying? Like i- these girls start dealing with these at young ages. Flings, sexual partners, talking stages. So she's already got on the carousel, so to speak. Even if she's like, I don't know if she's a virgin or not, obviously. But let's just hypothetically say I pretty much know she isn't now. I don't know for a fact, but I bet what I own at this point that she isn't. Um, but he's already got on the pattern of there being a revolving door of guys. So by the time she was 19, I know she's had at least four different boyfriends, four or five different boyfriends from 14 to 19. That's kind of ridiculous. Like when you really think about it. And this is 19, kids. And let's be clear. I, and not to mention, some suggestive Instagram post over the years. So and that's just by 19, y'all. So I think she's been with the same guy for the longest that she's ever been with a guy. And I'm pulling for her. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I'm pulling for her to succeed in life with men. Like that's the thing that I think people get misconstrued about us red pill guys is that we don't like we hate women. We want women to fail on a dating market. I don't want women to fail on a dating market. I want all the women I go over, I want them to have an epiphany therapy and meet a nice guy and treat him good. I mean, I know that's not gonna happen. But if we talking about what I want it to happen. I want every train wreck woman I've ever gone over the channel to have an epiphany, get therapy, and find a good man and be a good woman. If we want to talk about ideally what I would like to happen. So whatever. This young goodness. Um what was I about to say? So yeah, this young woman that I know, I want her to win. This current boyfriend that she's with now, I want it to work out. I don't want to see women just fail miserably for the rest of their life. And like put this, and I wouldn't even consider her like a bad. Can I put this? She's not a bad girl. I don't think. I mean, I don't that in depth, but this is me even just talking about one of the halfway, somewhat, sort of decent ones. Who's not a complete demon. So anyway, back to my main point. If this current relationship that she's in, I think they've been together for at least maybe a year now, and this has been like her longest one. And there's been signs of it being a little toxic, so that worried me. I'm like, but I'll just say this. Uh, if this one don't work out, it's probably gonna be a revolving door for the rest of her life. but happy to take whatever we can get, and she's not bad looking. So I mean, she's gonna be able to quote unquote pull niggas for probably well into her. So she's always gonna be able to find. She just want to save it, try to save it real quick, and just snatch up some simp to marry to try to fix her past decisions. She'll be able to do it. So meanwhile, this simp will meet her at 27, and like I said, she's cute. She'll probably still be fit. So this pathetic simp will 27 and be like, "Yes, I finally hit the jackpot. I finally got a fit, attractive woman who's willing to have something with me and return my calls." And he'll marry her. He'll fall in love in 6 months. She'll fall in love. I mean, he'll fall in love in six and marry her and feel like he hit the jackpot. And no idea what the fuck he's getting into because he doesn't have much experience with women. He's been getting played and ghosted for whatever most of his life, all of his life. So my ultimate point, like why I say, like, yeah, never marry a woman you met at a bar. And depending on the girl, even meeting her at 23, 24, it might be a sketchy ass pass. She might have already bonded and unbonded with by 23, 24. But I give them leeway. But meeting her at 26, ah, or just let's just say 30, meeting her at 30, 28, 29, 30, and you gonna put a ring on it, bro? Nah, nah. I mean, best case scenario would be like, yeah, me and my boyfriend were together from 18 to 30 and he cheated. You know, she bonded with one man, then you could make an argument to maybe do it. But if she didn't had 2, 3, 4 boyfriends, nah, nah, I wouldn't suggest that.
Once a woman hits 30, she cannot love you. Okay. And the marriage is not because she loves you. Okay. That marriage is for her to show to other people that she could fix her past that she messed up.
Someone, especially if we've had relationships in the past that didn't work out. And so that was me. And I lived in New Hampshire.
So with all that being said, let me just drive this point home. Can you imagine getting with a 3-year-old woman? That was just me talking about you getting with a year old woman. Now amplify that time she's 44. Like that's fucking absurd. Or even think about 34. Like, oh my god! And then her biological clock is ticking, so she really just looking for a sucker at this point. Getting with a woman at 32, 33, 34, and marrying her and taking her serious, and I'm about to build that is asinine. I mean, if you know what I know, it is. That's fucking asinine. There's men marrying 30, 35, 40, 45-year-old women genuinely think she loved me and this gonna work out. And this we gonna ride off in the sunset. And these men this.
So I thought, why not? I had a friend take a picture of me, a very simple, dressed in jeans, leaning against the fence by my horse barn. And I had very long hair back then. It wasn't at all the way it is now. So I guess I looked even younger than 50. But I didn't lie about my age. And I wrote a very simple profile. And that was that. Well, the minute my profile went live, I was bombarded by interested men.
You hear that? Did you hear that? This was a 50-year-old woman. Let's hear that one more time.
That was that. Well, and that was that. I guess I looked even younger than 50. and I had very long hair back then. It wasn't a very simple, dressed in jeans, leaning against the fence by my horse barn. And I had very long hair back then. It wasn't at all the way it is now. So I guess I looked even younger than 50, but I didn't lie about my age. And I wrote a very simple profile, and that was that. Well, the minute my profile went live, I was bombarded by interested men.
Now you see that? All women, and the point I made at the beginning of this stream, there is no reason for any woman to be single if she's looking. She took a leaned up against a barn in some jeans, probably nothing special, no makeup, just regular degular. A three, all a three got to do is post. She's gonna have a inbox full. Now, granted, a lot of those guys just want to hit, but at least 20 to 30% are genuinely interested to see if they could get in a relationship with her. And all she got to do is be a nice person. And like, you see what I'm saying? And this is her at 50 with an inbox full the first second it went live. So I mean, yeah, that the contrast between men trying to get out here and date and women trying. There is pretty much there isn't a woman with no options. Pretty much. I mean, even if her face is deformed, she probably gonna have an inbox full. So you see why there's no reason for a woman to be single if she decent? That's crazy.
The minute my profile went live, I was bombarded by interested men. And I don't think that happened because of my picture or my profile, but I think that's the mindset of these dating websites for many of these men, and maybe even women, to just target someone new before they find a date. And I don't remember how many requests I got or how many, I think it was even emails. Stop it, Maggie, no. But I was really taken aback by so many responses. And so I chose a few to respond to and shared a couple of emails.
Now let's let's break that down. She shared or few to respond to. Which ones do you think? Look, her next husband was in that back. She's the least motivated to pick the guy who would have been her match. She picked the tallest, hottest. They got the best jobs. It's just in a woman's DNA. When they get to pick, I'm gonna pick the. I mean, which I get on a basic level, I get. But if they understood things, they don't. They wouldn't do this. They're not smart enough to get it, or too narcissistic to care. I'm getting me a top one. What I look like, or how old I am. Just the entitlement and. But of course, she, 3 Chads, and before she obviously it didn't work out with the 3 Chads. Shockingly, right? We're so shocked it didn't work out with the 3 Chads as a fit, regular looking. I mean, she's just average looking at best. She think a 50-year-old James Bond was gonna take her serious and marry her, and they was gonna ever after. So just keep that in context of what few guys she picked. She picked 3 Mr. 0.5 percenters. So if you look at it in that context, everything she's about to say next, I'm sure will make more sense.
To respond to and shared a couple of emails. Yet, all the while, I could see that some of them were just really probably what they told every other woman to, right? Walks on the beach, all that nonsense that I wondered if they even did for real. Living life to the fullest was a very common phrase. And I would shy away from anyone who said that.
Yeah, so what she just said just proved what I just said. Life to the fullest. You know, plumbers ain't saying that on a dating app. Regular Joes ain't. I'm just living life to the. I'm gonna take you on long walks on the beach. Like, realistic. They're not usually gonna sell some big dream to a bitch. You know what I mean? So it's funny. So she said, I stray away from guys who are seeming. So basically, she said, I stray away from guys who are giving me player, kind of going with the flow, yada yada. So she already picked Mr. Point Five, and this is what women do, right? By the time it's all for Mr. 0.00.5, by the time a dude fit their looks, height, and job requirement, he's Mr. Point Five. Also emotionally intelligent and in tune with vibes, and also looking for a serious relationship with a 50-plus-year-old woman. They're looking for Mr. By the time they run through all that, Mr. 0.0000.5. Dating apps suck. See, let me touch on this. I don't talk about this enough. Dating apps. The women who found themselves reason, even though it's not many, but the good women who found themselves single over 34 love dating apps because they found their mate in 3 to 6 months tops. Probably and realistically 1 to 3 months tops of looking. Yeah, good women don't hate dating apps. They love them. A good woman, you're gonna find your mate on there within 1 to 3 months. So yeah, only bad women hate dating apps. With unrealistic dating standards, hate dating apps. Work the best for Chad and Tyrone and good women. That's who dating apps work best for. If you're not one of those, dating apps.
Because that doesn't mean anything. If you live life to the fullest, then tell me what it is you do. And don't use such a phony canned phrase. So I kind of weeded out some of those. And then I ended up being interested in quite a few. Now, here's kind of a funny story because I lived in a very quiet town with not very many public restaurants in the area. But I decided to meet one gentleman at a local, very small sandwich place. I don't even think it was open at night. It was just a lunch place. Very casual. And I met him there for lunch. And he was a nice guy. But I have to be physically attracted to someone before.
How about no?
Hear that, y'all? She got to be super physically attracted, right? And who are women super physically
I'm looking
attracted
for a
to?
partner, a sexy partner. He got to be handsome because I'm sexy. Just this is natural. So just imagine me dressing it up. You know what I'm saying? Suck your suck. Did you know that I can see you?
Stop it. I don't like that shit for sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
Comment section. Like I'm not gonna do that. But I will just say, yeah, ma'am, we'll just say average at best. But she had to be super attracted to him. let's be real, most men aren't gonna be super attracted to her. But he like men know we got to date down anyway. So she's a two, but she was the look of the five. Because let's be real, the guy she's talking about was probably a five or six. You know what I mean? But she wants him to be as attractive as the guys, who she had to cut off because they were clearly not about nothing serious. That way. Let me tell you something right now. So she wasn't physically attracted to him. Still prioritizing being super duper physically attracted. She's not physically attractive. Wonder why she's failing on a dating market. If your ass cool. So if you could have pulled a super attractive guy, you would be sitting with a guy. Like even reality can't knock women out of their delusion. Like reality is punching them in the face. It can't knock them out of their delusion.
Guy, but I have to be physically attracted to someone before I really want to develop a relationship, and it just wasn't there. And I don't think he felt the same for me either. I wasn't sure. Maybe it was the way I was acting that was kind of off-putting. But that was our one and only date.
Right. So she was being a cunt. So she basically just admitted, like, yeah, we physical attraction, which I don't get because didn't you see a picture of him before you agreed to go on a date? But it's of not getting responses from the guys that get fed up and agreed to go on a date with just some guy. But she just admitted it. Like, yeah, see, when a woman she's gonna be a complete cunt to you on the date. And one of the many reasons why most women just go on a date and he could be completely catfished. Like she could pretend like she looked like Halle Berry on um, she show up, right? And the dude can still men can still be a decent human being to that woman for the rest of the date. Rest of it and probably still have a good time. Like I don't want to date you, but we have fun. Most women can't do that. They can't show up to the date and realize this guy or oh he's saying some corny jokes. I got the ick and still be a decent time and just make the best of it and just not call him back. That's not in most women's nature. But she just he probably wasn't really feeling me either by the way I was acting. She just admitted yeah I was being a cunt to him because I wasn't attracted to him. Still single.
And I felt the same for me either. I wasn't sure. Maybe it was the way I was acting that was kind of off-putting. But that was our one and only date. And I went home. Well, the following week, another man popped up on the website, and I decided, which was a mistake, to meet him at the same restaurant, right? Now, I don't remember what the waitress said, but it was the same waitress. And I was a little concerned when I saw her because I was afraid she might say something.
Oh my goodness. She's not that bright either. She's not a good person based on how she treated the guy she wasn't attracted. She's not that bright either. Why would you go?
And she actually did. And I don't remember if she said, "Oh, you've brought another one," or "Are you going to order the same thing you had last week?" But my date was instantly offended.
I mean, yeah. So okay, I will say this: that waitress was a cunt. That was a miserable bitch hating. Like to keep women single. How much you want to bet? I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that the because she like I haven't got a date until another guy. Like they hate. They try to keep other women. They're gonna try to sabotage that woman. So I'm willing to bet single. The woman who said that, who was the waitress, was married, but she's miserable in her marriage, and so since she mad that she can't do it, she gonna hate on this woman who can do it. They're miserable haters, man. They're fucking miserable haters.
But my date was instantly offended. And he looked at me and he said, "Oh, so this is where you bring all your guys to the same restaurant, huh?" And actually, it was the same table. And I felt awful because I should never have done that. So that date went nowhere. And I never did that again. I never brought any dates to that same restaurant. And I don't know if the waitress even did that on purpose or not. I don't think she did.
See, and you should know that you're a woman because you know you done bullshit and then try to maintain plausible. Of course, she did it on purpose. Well, shit that pop up in their head sometimes. So, but whatever.
But I will never forget that. And I felt bad for the guy. So then I met maybe a dozen men over the course of 6 months.
12 dates. It took 2 dates a month. Do you know what? You know how many to get 12 dates? 12 years. At least 6, maybe 2 dates a year. If he just nonstop swiping. And you telling me none of those 12 men he could have worked with? Fuck out of here. At some point, you got to say I'm the common denominator. Well, look, she's here at 70, 20 years later, still single. So, yeah, we know what it was.
I met him at a pizza place. And this one was sad because although he sounded interesting in his profile and he was clearly interested in me, when I met him at the pizza place, I wasn't attracted to him either.
I think this bitch got a lot of audacity. So she just thinks she's, Marilyn Monroe in the face or whatever. She just thinks she, Megan Good in the face. Not Megan Good. I'm sorry. She thinks she's Megan Fox in the face. Cause even 2s and 3s want to find, man. You can't make it up, folks. You really can't make this shit up. Why the fuck are you going on dates with these men you don't find physically attractive? You ain't seeing pictures on the dating app? God. Man, you don't qualify for a man you're gonna be physically attracted to. How about that? That's what a lot of these women need to get. They don't qualify for men who make a certain amount. They said as women over 30 don't qualify for what they would be happy with in a relationship. Just simple and plain. Looks wise, money wise, charisma wise, emotional intelligence wise.
In me. When I met him at the pizza place, I wasn't attracted to him either. And even though I'd seen his picture, I realized that the picture was old. It was not an up-to-date photo at all. And that really angers me when someone is that dishonest and posts an old picture. And that's one reason I wanted to meet him in person, to find out if this was really who he really was. Always in a public place. And his eyes lit up when we met, and I could tell that he really liked me.
The narcissism. His eyes lit up when he seen this beautiful. Like, stop it, ma'am. Stop it. Oh, he was mesmerized by my beauty. I could tell. Do you know that we can see you? My goodness.
When we met, and I could tell that he really liked me. But there was no physical attraction, and we shared eating the pizza, which was delicious. And I was my usual entertaining self. But deep down, I felt bad.
You hear that? She's really hyping herself up. I was my usual entertaining self, probably more likely obnoxious. When women think they have great personalities and they're so funny and entertaining, it's usually just obnoxious. But yeah, I can see she's really into herself. She's really fucking in love with herself. Yeah, this video would be better if it was audio only. Then maybe she could trick us and we could visualize a beautiful woman sitting here saying all this shit.
And I was my usual entertaining self. But deep down, I felt bad for the guy, and I thought, how am I going to get out of this? Because he clearly wants to see me again. And I don't feel comfortable, but I have to tell him, in not so many words, that I'm not interested. But I don't want to. I don't want to come out and say that. That's too hurtful. So I think there was a small band that was actually getting set up to play country and western, actually, which is not any music that I'm interested in. And I could see that he wanted to stay, and he wanted to order me a glass of wine, and I declined. So I finished the pizza, and he asked to see me again. And I said, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I did not lead him on. But I said something to the effect of, I think I'm really busy. I'll get back to you.
It's kind of leading them on. Well, not I get it, but so I'm telling you, man, most women they just all think they deserve James Bond, and anything less than James Bond just won't do. See, when women get to a point where they don't need men, and we've I've shown this throughout my whole channel. If we live in a society where women don't technically need men, and they do, but you know what I mean. If we when we live in a society where women can work, they can get their own car, house, and if trouble come about, call the police. You know what I mean. Men don't have value to them anymore in their eyes. So if I'm gonna be with a man, he at least better be tall, fine, and rich. Because if he ain't tall, fine, and rich, what use do I have for him? I could pay my own bills. You see what I'm saying? Like anything less than the top 1 percenter just won't do. If I could pay my own bills and get my own car, it's just really absurd. It really is. That old, washed up, unattractive, overweight women think that they're gonna get James Bond to settle down with him and marry him and all this shit. 'Cause the guy that she would be really attracted to is definitely not gonna be attracted to her. Definitely not. I mean, yeah, the female ego should be studied. Where does this ego come from? I don't know.
And that was that. I never saw him again. And I did feel bad about that. But again, a first date.
You know, I get it. Thanks, D. Scott. You explained it to me. She had an inbox full the first day she went on a dating app, so she thinks she fine. But in reality, men are just pathetic and don't have options. But she took, oh, I keep an inbox full as I must be fine. That's where the ego is coming from.
Is just to meet anyway. And it's not a love at first sight. Again, a first date is just to meet anyway. And it's not a love at first sight kind of thing, although I did have that experience when I was 19. And maybe I was looking for that again. Maybe I was hoping to be in love again.
Alpha widowed at 19. And she's still looking for love at first sight at 50 on a dating app. She's still looking for chemistry and a movie fairy tale at 50. She looking for butterflies in her stomach and the guy to float across the room into her arms and all this fake movie fairy tale shit. And this goes to show that what I always say. Once a woman tasted better, she could never respect lesser. So if she ever dated a guy over 6 feet, she will never respect and be satisfied with a guy who's 5'11". If she ever dated a guy who made 150K, she will never be satisfied with a guy who make 100K. And this is why a woman is only supposed to bond and stay with one man in her whole lifetime. So she's comparing every man she meets to the time she was in love at first sight at 19 in 1937. Like, oh my god. and that's why you don't marry women. Look, the rule used to be you don't marry a woman who's not a virgin, and that's a great fucking rule, but we just had to settle for other shit. She's 70 now. She's 70 now. I actually think she looks good for 70. I mean, I'm not saying she looked good, but I don't think she I mean, I get the wrinkles. I don't think she I guess I get that she's 70. If she says she was 60, I would believe it. I don't know. I don't think she looks horrible for 70, but y'all can tell me how crazy I am below. But yeah, the whole never marry a woman who isn't a virgin, that was a great fucking rule. You don't gotta deal with the damage, you don't gotta deal with her being alpha widow, comparing you to other guys. She's compared every man that she's ever been with after 19 to that dude she met at 19. Well, just stay single then. Because look, if you qualified for another dude like the dude when you was 19, you would have him by now.
when I was 19. And maybe I was looking for that again. Maybe I was hoping to be in love again. And maybe he was too. But there's so many lonely people on these websites. And I learned as I met more men. Met one in a park. And
So you don't think you're a lonely person on a dating app? That's the funny thing. Like women will be on a dating app for 5 years talking about this piss in the dating pool. That's why I hate dating apps. Not realizing they're also the piss in the dating pool. You've been on the same pissy dating app for 5 years. So how are you not the piss in the dating pool? But that's the delusion. They all think they're the butterfly who slipped through the crack, who just happened to be single because she's such a good woman, but she just, just things didn't work out, but she's so great. She's one of the rare gems who just happen to still be on a dating app 5 years in.
met one in a park. And I think we were just walking when he admitted that he was still married. And I hid my anger because I thought, who is this guy? Thinking that he can date other women while he's still married? What a creep.
Attracted to him. Because yeah, any dude who's gonna be attractive, I mean, yeah, he's not gonna be available for you or like you. But you notice she didn't say she wasn't attracted to him, but the guy she was attracted to was married. Makes total sense. Because why would this James Bond guy be single at 50 and looking to get in something serious again at 50? You know how I always say there's no good reason for a woman to be single after 25, 30. There's no good reason for a marriage-minded James Bond to be single for longer than a year. Because if he's James Bond, he got options. And if he marriage-minded, one of these chicks gonna at least put on the act good enough to get him to marry him. So, no. Shout out to Capo. He says, "Remember when internet dating was for losers?" Yeah. I mean, shout out to the losers. I mean, just because 'cause you're a loser doesn't mean you're a bad person, but yeah. I mean, I guess dating apps still are for losers. They're for the top 1 percenters and the losers. Let me not use the word losers, because because you don't got a good job or you got a fucking cleft palate or something don't mean you deserve to be shitting on. But, like, but what I do feel comfortable shitting on is women on dating apps. Like, cause see, here's the thing. It's like what I said at the beginning of the stream. Men being habitually single, it's not a slight to them necessarily. He might be a great guy. Actually, being a great guy is more of a reason why you're probably single. They love bad boys and edgy boys, and they just use the good guys and divorce them, and he's back on the dating apps. So I don't begrudge a man for being on a dating app for 10 years. What up, Craig? But a woman on a dating app for 10 years, when she's had an inbox full for 10 years, yeah, you're a piece of shit. You deserve to be shamed and called a loser. Like, yeah.
What a creep. So I left him at the park and went home. Thank goodness I didn't tell him where I lived. And I'm sure I blocked him on the website after that. And I realized that some of these men on there, and even women, are probably really married. But they're not going to tell you that. But thank goodness this man did. And I could tell he seemed a little nervous and a little unsure of himself. And I'm not attracted to men like that. Anyway, so that went nowhere. Now here's an interesting.
She wants a tall, handsome, super confident man, a 0.5 percenter. You gotta be tall, handsome, confident, and for some reason still single. You're tall, handsome, confident with a great job, but for some weird reason you're 50 and single and looking. That shit don't add up. Like, you see what I'm saying? A 50-year-old tall, handsome, successful man being single is just as much as a red flag as a 23-year-old, smoking hot chick who cook and clean and super friendly being single. It's like something is seriously wrong here, or you're not single, or something is really shady going on here. And this lady is nothing what she's asking for. Oh, she was 50. She's 70 now. She's talking about her dating experience when she was 50.
One. Uh, because I did meet someone online who had a very interesting profile, and he seemed to be legit. And I think it was a couple of weeks before I agreed to a phone call. And believe it or not, I've never done this before. But when he called me at 6 o'clock, we talked until 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was really funny, and we had a great time. But I found myself uh, becoming too involved with a man on the phone, and I should never have done that. And he ended up supposedly having very strong feelings for me, and I put an end to it immediately, realizing that that phone call should never have been 8 hours long, and I had done it more out of boredom than anything else.
So you ended a relationship with a guy because you had too long of a conversation with him? Bro. All you gotta do is keep letting them talk. This woman is horrible. This woman is fucking horrible. And these are the type of women who I'm happy are single. These are the type of women who don't deserve love. I mean, I hate to be harsh, but women like this don't deserve love and they don't deserve a companion. And I don't need to explain why. The video, she's explained why with everything she's been saying this whole video. A lot of women don't deserve love and deserve to die alone. Seriously. I mean, based on the same things that this woman is saying, because none of this stuff is original. Yeah, she's 70 and single, living in some shack. One of her videos said how to retire broke. See, and that's the part that they don't think about. Sitting in front of some fucking 1860s fireplace. Yeah, see, they don't consider that because she's still chasing James Bond. So they would rather stay single and live under a bridge than just get on the program of a regular dude on their level.
I had done it more out of boredom than anything else. And I learned about myself that uh, meeting these men is not a wise thing to do because all of these men were more lonely than I was. I did speak to many more, but honestly, I don't remember. Even if I met them, I don't think I did. And I ignored the majority of the messaging that went on that website because they were very flattering. A lot of them used the same canned, I love to walk on the beach kind of nonsense. Well, first of all, you're in New Hampshire. There's not a whole lot of beaches, so which beach do you go to? And the other one, which I really found overused, was how they would claim that they live life to the fullest. And that was ridiculous because if you live life to the fullest, you don't have to use that ridiculous, overly used expression. Just tell me what you do. Tell me what you like to do. And tell me what you did last weekend. Be honest, because I can tell a liar.
There's That's what I'm saying. Women, they're just bitter point, and they think their shit don't stink, and they're sitting on their throne nitpicking every little flaw, and bitch, you're see, and this is why people get mean to women after a certain, like when their looks fade and stuff. People just don't respect or like women anymore. Once it's not about looking at their ass or looking at their pretty face. Let's be real. It's not just the red pill misogynist. People don't like women. Women don't like women. People, women's kids don't like them. Like after the looks, after 30, let's just put an age to it. After 30, humans don't like women. It's not just the men or misogynist men or red pill guys. People don't like women. A lot of people are scared to admit it or talk about it because they don't want to seem like an asshole or something. But I assure you, most people don't like women as a whole. I feel confident about that. This woman is a complete pretentious fucking old witch that has no justification to be pretentious and picky and arrogant. I'm on my high horse. None of these men, they're lonely, pathetic losers, and I'm queen of England. I'm so beautiful and funny and entertaining. Fuck out of here.
Well, that's a way to read through them, which I did. So in the event, I stopped being on that website. But here's a tip. I did log in on a New Year's Eve, which was a huge mistake because I received more responses than ever. Because obviously, if you're logging onto a website on New Year's Eve, everyone knows you don't have a date, right? And you know that they don't either. And you're going to meet the most desperate people on New Year's Eve without a date. So I quit doing that, and I quit that website altogether. Now I'm going to end this video with the worst man that I ever met, including my ex-husbands. And I think it was the universe teaching.
Husbands. And she still with the S, ex-husbands. All these different dates and ex-husbands, but she's not the problem, y'all. It's always the men. Women are never the problem in their eyes. It's always the men. They're just good for making babies, man. Most of them. Like, don't get me wrong. Some relationships work. Some people are happy in their marriages. Good women exist, but such a small percentage. Most women are just dog shit to be in relationships with, or really to be around, especially over 30 and 40. It's a harsh thing to say, but it's true. It's fucking true, man. I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to fucking hear anymore about how all your husbands were terrible and you were just this. Matter of fact, you know what? I do want to hear. Let's hear about how terrible they were.
Me the lesson that I had yet to learn because I met the most violent, repulsive narcissist that I have ever met in my entire life.
Ma'am, no, you're the biggest narcissist you've ever met in your entire life. I don't blame him for beating your ass after just knowing you for 10 minutes.
And I should have known, but I was lonely. And he was a local guy. He was a logger. And I met him just by chance. And he invited me to his home for dinner, which was nearby, with his family. Divorced. Invited his son, his grown son.
Surprised more men don't beat up women. I mean, this channel's over anyway, so it don't matter. Fuck it. I, that's a true testament to men's grace and patience. That women don't just get beat up all the time by men. And I mean that shit.
Invited his son, his grown son, his wife, and his two tiny grandchildren who were just infants. And I was really taken, in particular, with this man. And looking back, I understand why. Because he had a family, and I had never experienced having a family before. And I think being invited to his log house out in the woods, meeting his family, and having dinner was extremely appealing to me and gave me the possibility of being involved in someone's family. And I think that was the pull, looking back. However, I will never forget sitting at that table and feeling that there was something very, very dark in that house. And what was dark was this man, because everyone at the table catered to him with such a subtle fear that it emanated in the very air that I was breathing.
Call bullshit. Why did they? They could have just not came. They could just stop fucking with him. Like if he's such an evil, dark monster, his family could just disown him and stop fucking with him. Whatever. Let's just
And he had cooked a delicious meal and even made my favorite dessert, which is chocolate cake.
But everybody was catering to him, but he just made a whole Thanksgiving spread for everybody. But he's this evil monster that everybody's fearful of. And he just sit back and get catered to, even though he just made this whole fucking big dinner. All you gotta do is just let him keep talking. This shit's stupid.
Which is chocolate cake. Yet his family was very guarded, very polite, very attentive to me. Yet I sensed that they were doing so because he had told them to. And I dated him for maybe.
So his family were being decent human beings to you under the threat of violence. Is that what you're trying to claim? His family was really nice and attentive to me. That's called being a gracious host and a decent human being. But you had a sense that they were being held by gunpoint to do that. This bitch is fucking retard.
maybe 10 days until I heard the riffraff about this guy, how he had been extremely abusive to his previous ex-wives and to his own family. And it was actually Christmas time, and he had bought me a huge, huge, giant wreath to put on my back door. Very expensive wreath. And I remember putting it in my truck and driving it to his house and giving it back to him and saying, here, I don't want it because it reminds me of you. I don't want anything to do with you.
See that over dramatic BS, narcissistic drama BS? You could have just threw the damn wreath away. But she did this whole dramatic, I'm gonna drive it back in my truck. Take this wreath back. I don't want it because it reminds me of you. Is that something you do with an abusive monster? Or do you just get the fuck away from abusive monster and just you throw the wreath away and get as far away you can from this abusive monster? Back, you monster, because it reminds me of you. Is that what you do with a truly dangerous man? Even if you a man, like, is that the course of action you take when dealing with an extremely abusive, dangerous man?
Giving it back to him and saying, here, I don't want it because it reminds me of you. I don't want anything to do with you. I'm glad I met you because you're not someone that I want to date anymore. Should I have done that? No. But I was so disgusted by his false persona that I felt better after I returned that wreath. Well, I'm going to leave you in closing at the end here in my video how this man ties into online dating. Because shortly thereafter, a friend called me and she said, hey, Barbara, you'll never believe who's created an online profile and who's looking for women. And lo and behold, it was this guy, the same guy, the violent, abusive narcissist with a criminal history, believe it or not, which I found out later also. And
The Coinky Dink, out of all the hundreds of dates she went on, this was the guy she got involved with. All the other guys didn't make it past the first date. The guys who were crazy about her and had a twinkle in their eye, they didn't get a second date. But it's just so ironic that the men they actually get involved with and getting in relationships with are the abusive, narcissistic monsters. Ain't that a weird coinky dink? But the sweet guy who brought flowers and they talked on the phone for 9 hours, he never got another call or a date. But ironically, the abusive piece of shit monster narcissist, she was dating him for 6 months to a year. Does anybody find that to be a weird coinky dink with women? They could never figure out how to get away from the monster, or they always seem to get into relationships with the monsters, but nice guys don't get a second date. Ah, never mind.
I got online and I couldn't believe what he had written about himself. The whole thing was a pack of lies. And I don't even think he could have written it himself because it was all about how he was empathetic and caring and respectful and insightful. And he was looking for a woman because he had been so mistreated in his life that all he wanted to do was find true love. Huh. Now, it alarms me how many women probably responded to him and how many women found out, hopefully, before it was too late, like I did, how dangerous this man really was. But it also made me realize how many other people are on these websites, men and women included, who portray themselves to be the opposite of who they really, really are. And that was the clincher for me, and I realized that I was done dating. I had not listened to my intuition because, again, I think the pull of feeling that family bond, wanting to be part of his family, thinking, gee, if this really worked out, I might have a family in that way. But deep down, I knew it was wrong. And I'm glad that I learned early on, before I saw this guy's real temper. Because
I think we've had enough of that, folks. Um, we got him here. What we got? Everybody hit the like button. Let's get the donations up. Cash App, PayPal, Streamlabs, all at the top of the chat. I don't think I've gotten a donation in feel like 2 weeks. Probably hasn't been that long, but yeah, if we can get the donations up, that'd be appreciated. Oh, let's see. Do I feel like going on some more? Not really, but let's see.
Three flaws I have.
I guess I'll get off here. I might see y'all later. Thanks for stopping by. Join the new channel, Dating Dysfunctions. The new channel starts December 2nd. Link is at the top of the chat. Or you can just type in Dating Dysfunctions in YouTube. Follow me on Rumble. Remember, how others treat you is their karma. How you treat others is your karma. Be nice to people because God's watching. And remember, I'm a nice guy. I just play asshole on the internet. And I've never done anything remotely wrong my entire life. Ever.